Okay, in this super fast demo, we're just going to cover how to use the FlowAlongSrf command, and also we're going to tie it to the record history function as a way to introduce how this works, which could be quite useful for the kind of early prototyping phases of a design project. So first thing, let's run the FlowAlongSrf command here, and it's going to ask us to select some objects that we'd like to flow along. And then it's going to ask us to select a base surface, and for now we're going to leave all these things up here by default. And we'll select near a bottom corner, and then we'll select our target surface near a similar bottom corner. And you can see that what we've done is we've basically mapped the geometry over here onto the surface, and it kind of, in a way, it kind of morphed the base geometry to the surface curvature. All right. Now, if I make a change to this target surface here, what we'll see is no effect. There's no effect on this change. There's no effect of this change onto the geometry that we mapped onto it. All right, so there's no relationship there. So if we go back a little bit, so if we wanted to make changes to this surface and we wanted to have this command basically run again automatically, we can just simply activate the record history down below here. Just click that. We can run our FlowAlongSrf command, and we'll just go through the motions. Okay, and now let's turn on the control points once again. And now what we've done is we've established a relationship between the mapped objects and the base, or let's say, sorry, the target surface. So as I make changes to the target surface, the command will run again, and it'll remap that geometry to the new surface that's just been edited. All right, so it's pretty useful to speed things up, especially if you're walking through a few different kind of design options, and this is the command you're using. The FlowAlongSrf command will work with other commands as well, so you can experiment a bit. And there's one more thing I did want to demonstrate. Kind of an interesting functionality of the FlowAlong command, especially as it pertains to a diagrid like this would be a good example. So let's go ahead and run this again, and I won't worry about recording the history this time. So let me select these, and this time I'm going to pay attention a little bit more carefully to the options above, and I'm going to turn the Constraint Normal off in this case. So Constraint Normal no, and Rigid no. And then I'll select my base surface here, and run it again. And then I'm going to make a copy of this. And now with that copy, we'll rerun the command and we'll change the option for Constraint Normal. See what that does for us. So let's flow along again. And we'll select our diagram here. And now we're going to turn Constraint Normal on. Okay, that's yes. Base surface selected at the corner again, and same. Alright, let's take a look at, let's hide these two surfaces here. And we'll take a look at these two, the two results of the plan. Yeah, so the first one was the Constraint Normal off, and what that did is it mapped the objects such that the transformation occurs so that the parts will be normal to the surface at any given point. So the objects here you can see are built off the surface normal, perpendicular to the area of the surface curvature that it's placed against. And here you can see that the map geometry actually maintained its original z direction, which is what the original normal direction was. So if we look back at the digrid, the base digrid, we can see that this is all extruded upward in the z direction only, and that property would be maintained regardless of the surface curvature that we're applying it to, or mapping it to. Okay, so this is kind of a nice little thing to keep in mind here as you work with the FlowAlongSrf command. And you can see that these parts, not only do they kind of turn in space, but they also sort of twist in order to allow for that, whereas these will just kind of turn in space. So this is sort of it's a kind of a ribbon, that's just kind of turning and kind of bending in position, whereas this is going to be a ribbon. Each one of these will be a ribbon that turns and bends in space, but also twists as it doesn't. and you kind of choose the whichever option makes sense for the project you're working with. Okay, and that's it for this one.